Hello, this is Photography Gamer, welcome back to the channel. Today I am reviewing Ghost Recon Wildlands Ultimate Edition, which includes the Fallen Ghosts and Narco Road DLC. Ghost Recon Wildlands is a military tactical shooter developed by Ubisoft Paris. You play as a ghost in a squad of 4 as you attempt to destabilize the drug cartel that has taken over Bolivia. The game has a variety of game modes. You have campaign mode, which is huge and where you explore the main story. Guerrilla mode is like a horde mode. You're in a small area, enemies turn up in waves. You've got to kill them in order to progress and get better weapons, etc. Ghost mode is the same as campaign mode, but with very hard and realistic settings, and it's permadeath, so when you die, you die. Ghost War is an online PvP experience. Teams of players taking on each other in various modes. It's classic online multiplayer chaos and really good fun. And finally there is Mercenaries mode, which throws you into a map with no weapons or gear. Basically you need to find the weapons, find the gear, locate a radio transmitter, then eventually it will tell you where the extraction zone is. You then have to get there before the other players to win the match. So lots of different modes there. But the heart of the game comes in the campaign. You start by creating your own character. It's not very comprehensive and you basically have to choose a set face, then your hair, clothing and scars, tattoos, etc. Once this is done, you head into Bolivia with your squad of 4 and start the long road to taking down El Sueño, who is the cartel's leader. The game is set in Bolivia and the map is absolutely enormous. The way it's been created is excellent and the landscapes and the different regions really feel natural in terms of the way they've put them together, and it genuinely feels like a living, breathing place. If you've ever been to Bolivia, Ecuador or Peru, you'll definitely appreciate this aesthetically because it's really got a nice balance of the kind of small towns, the architecture, the kind of grittiness of it, the mountains. So what is the game like to play? The core gameplay is fantastic and the gunplay in particular is really high level enjoyment. All the weapons feel smooth and responsive and you have a huge variety of guns in this game. Honestly, if you like guns, you will be in heaven here. Because you can customize all your weapons down to each individual part, such as scopes, magazines, barrel attachments. You can even paint the gun to suit your outfit, or you can paint each individual part to make it look ridiculous. Whatever you want, whether you want realism or silliness, you can go either way. You can find new weapons and skill points in the map via medals, cases and other intel sources. There's honestly so much out there to find, it is just like crazy amounts of content. You're always looking for the next item, the next weapon, medal, etc. The AI teammates aren't perfect, but they're pretty useful, mainly due to the sync shot function. You can use your drone or binoculars to mark enemies on the map, then you can tell up to 3 of your squad members to shoot when you shoot. So in theory, after you've leveled up a lot, you can take down 4 enemies simultaneously, which is really cool. When you play on the harder difficulties, the squad mates are essential because the game gets really tricky and they can heal you and vice versa, so they give you another second chance. The drone is also really useful as a tool, and later on you can add attachments to it, like even explosives at some point, so you can turn it into kind of a weapon. It helps you get the lay of the land and it helps you plan your next move and see what's coming when you're going into hostile territory. So to destabilize the cartel you have to find intel on the low level bosses, then you work your way through the hierarchy and eventually you get to take down the head of security, influence, smuggling and production. And once you've done enough of that, you then get a shot to take down the big cheese, El Sueño. The game has a variety of vehicles. The cars and bikes handle okay, but they could have been sharper and tighter in terms of how they handle. The helicopters and boats are perfect. The planes are a real challenge to fly, and if you're playing on ghost mode with permadeath, I'd advise you to just avoid the planes altogether because the likelihood you'll crash and die is very high. The enemies are split into the cartel gunmen and Unidad. Unidad are kind of like a Bolivian group connected to the government, are corrupt, and they're basically not your friends. You've got to deal with snipers, heavy gunners, like vehicles with guns, and at the higher levels the enemies are absolutely ruthless and deadly. It's more of a realistic game because if you shoot someone in the head, they're done. There aren't really any bullet sponges on either side. One good shot ends a fight, and that makes each skirmish pretty tense and enjoyable, especially once you go into extreme mode. There is also a tier system which comes into play once you max out your character's level. Basically at that point you start at tier 30. The aim is to get to tier 1. Every level you go down, the game gets harder. The enemies don't appear on the radar, various things change to make it more difficult. So it's like an organic difficulty slider that makes the game worth playing once you've completed it, because it's continually getting harder and harder and you'll keep on getting rewards. Speaking of rewards, the game has a lot of bonus content. You have special missions throughout the map where you fight the actual predator with the proper music from the film and sound effects, and it's really cool. You also have a Splinter Cell mission featuring Sam Fisher and others from the Future Soldier franchise and Rainbow Six Siege. There is also a mission that ties into the follow-up game, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, and this edition also includes 2 very large DLCs. The first one is called Fallen Ghosts, and that takes place after the main campaign. Basically, a guerrilla group of special forces fighters have taken control of a region in Bolivia, and you and your squad have to go in behind enemy lines and take back the region. The enemies use special weapons, high-tech camouflage and aggressive tactics. It's very tough and it's incredibly rewarding. It's one of the best DLCs I've played. There are so many missions in it that really stick in the memory, in particular one in like a sniper valley, which is just really intense and awesome. You know, I'd strongly recommend Fallen Ghosts, but only after you've played the main campaign. The other one is called Narco Road. That sees you infiltrate the cartel via the exotic cars side of the business. It's a little bit over the top and features a lot of driving, doing crazy jumps in bright painted cars. It's a little bit like Fast and the Furious meets Ghost Recon. The combat is still good and it's hard because you're going solo this time, and honestly, I quite enjoyed it. It's silly, it's not really in keeping with the Ghost Recon franchise, but it's a bit of light-hearted relief, I guess. It's definitely not as good as the main campaign or Fallen Ghosts, but it's still another good addition, and the cars are cool and the radio stations actually have some decent music for a change. Graphically, the game is solid in terms of the characters and their animations. The environments look excellent and the diverse geographical locations look very good. The day-night cycle works well, and in general it's very well lit, very colourful, vibrant and very atmospheric, and also gritty in parts of the country. The game also has a photo mode. You can zoom out quite far, you have a few filters you can use, you can alter the focal depth, you can even change the time of day, which really helps. It really makes a difference as you can alter the lighting very quickly. It's not the best photo mode out there, but it's a good one and I've managed to capture some really nice stuff with it. I think Narco Road is probably the best part of the game for photos because it's very colourful and vibrant, and you've got all these really crazy cars and special effects, so for photos it kind of adds lots of elements. But even in any of the game you can take good shots, you just have to kind of have the kind of sense of, okay, now's the shot, because sometimes you do get lost in the combat. But it's a good addition. The music in the game is excellent. It has a Latin American feel to it, and it's dynamic in terms of when it comes in at certain times of day or during certain events. The voice acting is okay. It's a little bit cheesy and camp at times. Some of the squad chatter can be a little bit off colour, like some of the things they come out with are a bit crass and in pretty bad taste, but it's only occasionally. The radio stations in the cars aren't great, the music is really forgettable, and the DJs in particular it's just a bit of a pointless. It's nothing like the level of a GTA, it's really low level, poor quality. But overall the audio's good, gun sounds are great, you know, they're freaking awesome. Like when you offloading a gun without a silencer, you really just feel it, and the ambient sound effects, the environmental effects and how it sounds depending on where you're shooting, really good. Okay, so what's good and what's bad about Ghost Recon Wildlands? What's good? It's a great squad-based tactical shooter. The guns feel awesome and really satisfying. The game world is huge and the amount of content you get here is ridiculous. The DLCs are both worth playing. The character customization in terms of clothing and weapons is good. The cartel is huge and taking it down takes a long time, but it's a really satisfying thing to achieve when you finally do it. The PvP online stuff is good and worth your time if you're into that kind of stuff. Overall, the game is just excellent value for money. What's bad? Some of the voiceovers are a little bit cheesy and crass. The AI teammates are useful up to a point, but they could have been a little bit more tactically aware, a little bit more intelligent. Okay, so what is the verdict? Ghost Recon Wildlands is a fantastic military tactical shooter. It has so much content, so much to do, huge amounts of customization, lots of memorable missions and excellent free content, and also terrific DLC. It's realistic, it's challenging, and it's great fun whether you're playing solo or online with your own squad. I love this game and I've put over 200 hours into it over the course of a year. I've never been bored, I never got tired of it. It's always got something to do, and every time you take on enemies it feels a little bit different whether you go in loud or you go in quiet. Either way, it's really just a very satisfying and enjoyable experience. So with all that being said, my score for Ghost Recon Wildlands is 9 out of 10. As a whole package, including the season pass content, the bonus missions, all of that stuff, it's an absolutely fantastic game and it's incredibly good value for money. I'd recommend it for anyone who likes shooters, tactical games, military games, online co-op or PvP. It's really worth your time and I have had so much fun playing this game. So that was the review for Ghost Recon Wildlands. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. This is Photography Gamer signing off. Thank you.